Alright, so in this video, we will look at an extended example of case 1 where we have two sides and an included angle, okay, and how we can use the cosine rule to find unknown lengths in a triangle. Okay, so in try 16, we are given PQRS is a parallelogram with PQ equals to 5 cm and PS equals to 5 cm, 3 cm, and angle QPS equals to 105 degrees. Find the length of the diagonal QS. So we have diagonal QS over here. So let's just highlight it in blue. So QS as well as PR over here. Now looking at the QS, it's quite obvious that I have the angle that's included angle itself. Okay, so the angle is between the two lengths, and I want to find this itself. So this is actually exactly the case one itself. So usually for myself, at least, I don't memorize it by the cases. I memorize it by the diagram itself. So as long as I have something like this, and I'm given this, this, and this, and I want to find this, I'll use cosine rule. Okay, so for me, okay, after a lot of years using trigonometric rules, how I recognize the cases and how do I recognize when to use sine or cosine rule is basically based on what is given to me in the diagram itself. Okay, but for some of you, you might better memorize it by the cases. It's up to you actually. Okay, anyway, enough of me rambling on. Let's take a look at the question itself. So what we can see is you want to find QS. Okay, so by cosine rule, so if I label this as A, this will be B, this will be C, and this will be angle A. Okay, so what we can do is by cosine rule, we now have um, QS square is equals to PS square plus PQ square minus 2PS PQ cosine angle QPS. Okay, substituting all numbers, I have QS square equals to 3 square plus 5 square minus 2 bracket 5 bracket 3 cosine 105 degrees. So QS itself is simply equals to 3 square plus 5 square minus 2 times 5 times 3 cosine 105. So I have 6.4626. Okay, of course, I just put in a negative answer just to reject it, of course. So I'll reject this. Okay, and then give the answer in 3SF. So QS equals to 6.46 centimeter. So that's for part A. Now let's take a look at part B itself. Okay, for me, because it's a computer, it's easy for me to erase my diagram. Okay, if you can't erase, just redraw your diagram. Okay, so I want to find PR, which is basically this length over here. Okay, now there are a few ways to go about doing this, but you realize that I can use the upper triangle or the lower triangle. It's still the same thing actually. Okay, now so in this case, I want to find this PR over here. So let's just highlight PR to make it more obvious. Okay, so you realize I'm given this thing over here. That's enough. That's all. I'm not given any angle. There's no way I can find this angle. There's no way I can find this angle. Can I find this angle? I can, because this is a parallelogram. Okay, I can use a property of the parallel lines to actually find this angle. So I can find this angle first. So this is how I plan out my working first. Okay, can I find this length? Of course, because the opposite lengths, I can find this length. Can I use cosine rule? I can now use cosine rule. So this is how I plan out the working in my mind itself. Okay, so let's find angle PQR first. So part B. Okay, I'm going to write down everything with the abbreviations just to help you revise the abbreviations. Like I said, without the abbreviations, because the question did not specifically say stating your reasons clearly, uh, you don't really have to put in the abbreviations. But like I said, we aim for perfection. We want the most perfect working. Okay, so I'm going to write down in black the workings, the bare minimum workings that you need. Okay, and whatever extra workings that I find that will make it more perfect, I will put it in blue itself. All right, so let's start with angle PQR itself. So as long as the question said that you don't have to put reasons, unless they put here stating your reasons clearly. Then you must put whatever that's in blue as well lah. Stating your reasons clearly. If you have this, then too bad lah. You have to write down your reasons. But if not, the working suffice. So angle PQR is simply equals to 180 degrees minus angle QPS, okay, which is equal to 180 degrees minus 105 degrees. Okay, I'm going to write down with all the labels, like I say, just to make it perfect. And the reason for this is simply interior angles. Okay, not just interior angles, but it's also because PS is parallel to QR. Okay, and then what I will do is, I know it's very obvious that this is 3 cm. Okay, but I'll just write it down as well. So QR equals to PS, so QR is equals to 3 cm. And reason is simply because opposite sides of a parallelogram. Again, for your homework, I'm going to leave it to you to decide yourself. Okay, I'm not going to make it compulsory for now to write down the reasons, but I find that it's a good time to revise lah. Okay, and then from here we can then use cosine rule. So by cosine rule, we will have PR square equals to PQ square plus QR square minus 2 bracket PQ QR cosine angle PQR. Okay, and if you're confused, just label them. This is on fine. So A, angle A, then B and C. If you're confused. Okay, so I have PR square equals to PQ square, so 5 square plus 3 square minus 2, 5 bracket 3 cosine angle 75 degrees. So PR equals to, so 3 square plus 5 square minus 253 cosine 75, 26, sorry, square root first, 5.121 cm, or, okay, of course we include in the negative side even though we know that we will reject it. Check. So PR equals to 5.12 cm. Alright, so yeah, in the next video we will take a look at another case, the next case where we can use cosine rule itself. Okay, should be quite obvious lah. Okay, so right now so far we have been using cosine rule to find length. Okay, later on in the next case, in this next video, we will take a look at how we can use cosine rule to find angle. Okay, stay tuned.